In this video, I'm going to be revealing exactly how much dividend income I made in the month of June from a $31,000 dividend portfolio. We're also going to look at a couple of other things such as my portfolio value tab, my dividend outlook tab. We're going to look at my dividend calendar, my daily dividend calendar, and we're also going to be projecting how much dividend income I can expect to make over the next 30 years at my current rate. But let's go ahead and jump into our dividend outlook. If you'd like to be able to download this spreadsheet, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. And we can see here there's a few different things we're going to look at, but the first thing I'm going to go ahead and reveal is exactly how much dividend income I made in the month of June, and we can see right here it was $74.04. Now I started tracking this back in about February of 2021, and you can see we have been trending upward the entire time. Now my highest month was April of 22 at $133. The past couple of months have been just a little bit lower at about $68 and $74, but I'm expecting next month to be one of my highest months of dividend income. If we come over here, we can see my expected yearly dividend income is currently sitting at about $1,168, and my all-time dividend income is now over $1,000. Now my goal for my average monthly dividends is to get this up to about $100 a month, and it's currently sitting at 97, so I am getting closer to that goal. My highest month of dividend income, like I mentioned earlier, is about $133, and my portfolio dividend yield is currently sitting at about 3.78%. Now if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know it used to be above 5%, but I've been focusing a lot more on investing into quality dividend paying companies over the past few weeks. So you can see I've been investing into companies like Bank of America, Domino's Pizza, INTC, Starbucks, and Lowe's. And now my total dividend payments is currently sitting at about 130. We're going to look at these three charts here as well. We're going to look at dividend income by industry, yield on cost, and expected yearly dividend income. Now my dividend income by industry, you can clearly see financials makes up a large majority of my dividend income each year at about almost $400. Information technology is about $101, consumer staples $170, real estate $170, and ETFs, and this is a position I've been increasing lately. It's currently sitting at about $142. Now my yield on cost, you can clearly see I do have some more aggressive positions, but like I said, I have been focusing more on lower yield but higher dividend growth paying companies over the past few months. Here we have my expected yearly dividend income. Clearly ACRE, my highest position in dividend income at about 107. OHAI pays out about $97 in yearly dividend income. And then I have some positions that pay out around 67, 54, Microsoft, NLY at 52, PSEC at 54, and then a few other positions in the 50s here as well. But let's go ahead and jump to my portfolio value tab, and we're going to look at a couple of different things here. But the first thing we're going to look at is we can see in June of 2022, my dividend portfolio is currently worth about $31,000, as you can see right here. Dividend portfolio cost was about $30,890. So my percent gain over time is currently sitting at 2.42%, and that is a huge decline from my all-time highs. This is largely due to the market decline. Now, the market declined a pretty large bit again in June, but we can see we have recovered a little bit, but obviously year to date we are down about 20% when it comes to the S&P 500. So I am pretty fortunate to still be in the green with my dividend portfolio overall, and we can see my gains is about $374. Here we can see we have a value by industry chart. Now, information technology has been one of my largest positions for a while at about 25%. And that's because I'm a huge believer in Microsoft stock. I love Microsoft stock for multiple reasons. I've made a few videos on them, and I'll continue to make videos on them in the future as well. Now, my ETFs is currently taking up about 21%, and this is a position that continues to increase as I try to diversify my portfolio a little bit. We can see financials at about 14.5%, consumer staples at 14%, and real estate at about 9%. Then I have some positions in some other industries as well that aren't quite as large. Here we can see my dollar and percent gain, and a lot of these stocks have tumbled over the past few months, so we do have some negative positions now. Now obviously my best performing stock is Coca-Cola. I was able to buy in at a great price, and I'm currently up about $580. And here we can see we have my value by individual stocks. This Vanguard fund I've been adding to a lot. It's been my largest position over the last few months that I've been adding to. You can see it currently takes up about 13.3% of my dividend portfolio. Microsoft currently takes up about 19.3%, so that's a pretty large position. And then Coca-Cola takes up almost 9%. And the reason Coca-Cola actually takes up so much is because they've grown so much in value, and I've continued to reinvest dividends back into this position. So it's been a really well-performing stock for me. Now let's go ahead and jump over to my dividend calendar. And if you're a dividend investor, then I highly suggest using a dividend calendar when tracking your dividends. It's easy to see how much you've made each month in dividend income and how much each stock has paid you in dividend income over time. And more importantly, you can see when they're paying you dividends, and you can see the dividend growth over time. So for example, if we look at, let's say we want to look at if we look at Realty Income Corporation, we can see they're a monthly paying dividend company, $5.83 in January, but when I reinvest dividends, we can see each month that amount is increasing slightly. So even though it's a small amount, it's going to continue to increase the amount they pay in dividends due to the fact that I'm reinvesting all of my dividends. So we can see in the month of June, I got paid by J&J, I got paid by KHC, and I got paid by IBM right here. And then we can see MAIN, that's a monthly paying company. They paid me $13 from Microsoft this month. We can see I got paid $5.95 here, $4.61 here, $3.87 here, $3.02 here, $2.98, $2.89, $15.28 from my Vanguard fund, and then $2.20 here, and $3.65 from INTC. Now, if we jump over to my daily dividend calendar, this is just another way of seeing when I got paid dividends. We can see in the month of June, I was paid on the 1st, I was paid on the 7th, 9th, 10th, 13th, the 15th, $4 on the 21st, $4.78 on the 24th, and then a pretty big day on the 29th at $15.28, and I was paid on the 30th as well. But let's go ahead and look at one more thing, and we want to look at my dividend portfolio projections. And so in order to build this model, I need to make a couple of assumptions about my future dividend growth. Now, the way I'm investing, like I've mentioned before, is I am focusing on high quality dividend growth companies. So what that means is we're not going to see quite as much of a price growth rate over time, and we're not going to have as much of a dividend yield at the beginning, but we are going to see a high dividend growth rate over this period of time. So I'm projecting a price growth rate of about 8%. A dividend growth rate of about 8%, and a starting dividend yield of about 4%. Now, I know my dividend yield is a little bit lower than that currently, but these are just projections. So if we jump over to our Outlook tab, after all this model, we can see exactly what our results will look like without reinvesting dividends and when we do reinvest dividends over time. So let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more so we can take a look at this difference. We can see our 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-year time frames and what that will look like for each of these scenarios. So just at a glance, we can see after 5 years, our dividend payouts quarterly without reinvesting dividends would be about $1,890, which is a pretty great start. But if we reinvest dividends over that same amount of time, we can see it'd be sitting at about $2,137 in dividend payouts every single quarter. Now, the total value is pretty different as well. We can see it'd be about $191,000 over 5 years, but if we reinvest dividends, it'd be sitting at about $218,000. So that's almost a $30,000 difference in just a 5-year time frame. But let's go ahead and jump forward and look at our 15-year. We can see after 15 years at these same rates, my dividend payouts quarterly without reinvesting dividends would be $7,831. But if we reinvest dividends over that same amount of time, we can see it would be $11,589. My total dividend income received without reinvesting dividends would be $203,000. But if we reinvest dividends, $266,000. And this is where things get crazy. We can see without reinvesting dividends, total value would be at about $790,000. But if we reinvest dividends after just 15 years, we can see this portfolio would be worth over $1.18 million. Now let's go ahead and look at our 30-year time frame as well. And this is where things really start to get crazy because the compounding effect starts to take place at a much more rapid rate. We can see our dividend payout after this time period without reinvesting dividends would be $32,500 every single quarter. But when we look at with reinvesting dividends, $78,400 every single quarter. So that is absolutely astronomical. And when we look at our total dividend income received over this 30-year time period, without reinvesting dividends, we would have still received $1.28 million in dividends over this 30-year period. But if we reinvest all of those dividends over that amount of time, we can see that nearly doubles to $2.43 million. And now let's go ahead and take a look at our total value, and this is where we see a really drastic difference. Without reinvesting dividends over 30 years, $3.3 million, but when we reinvest dividends, over $8 million. So you can really see when the compounding effect takes place when you reinvest your dividends back into your portfolio, you can see some pretty astronomical results, and it's going to allow you to be able to live off of dividend income at a much more rapid rate. And considering you're investing into high quality dividend growth companies, your portfolio value is going to continue to grow as well. Whereas if you're investing in ETFs like QYLD and putting large amounts of money into it, your portfolio value is going to decline over time. But there you go. That's exactly how much dividend income I made in the month of June from a $31,000 account. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below if it's more or less than you were expecting. If you'd like to be able to download the spreadsheet, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.